Welcome in, everybody, to the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt, joined today with Ben, as I am always for these positional rankings. Today, we're finally diving into the defensive side of the
The
ball.
defense.
Only 3 weeks to go, so again, gonna start cramming on this channel. What's up with that? What's up with the draft being like 8 days early this year? It feels like, but
I
whatever.
know, it
That's
snuck up
okay.
on us.
Ben, how are we?
I'm doing great. Disappointed in myself. I've really been slacking on that draft countdown that I've been accustomed to. I mean, it's been like 7 years I've been doing that, and this year I just
Yeah, I didn't
slacked
know
on
when the draft was because you haven't been telling me.
it. I know, right? What are you gonna do? It's gonna sneak up on you. I'm doing great. Excited to get in the defensive side of the football. Definitely varying opinions, especially on the edge class here. Like the way that people just have them ranked is going to be fun. There's definitely a top prospect in this class that me and you see eye to eye, that we don't see eye to eye with consensus on, and that'll be fun to get into. But I'm just pumped to get into defensive side of the football here.
How do you feel about the anonymous sources with Jalen Hurts? I
I
felt
don't know
like
if you
that
saw
was yeah.
the post I sent to you today. Maybe Jalen Hurts is the anonymous source, and he wants people to doubt him.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he
Valid.
wants people to doubt him.
Valid.
No, I don't know. I'm not. I'm not.
I don't
It's.
know. We haven't been covering news, but that like is the only newsworthy is that it just became shit on Jalen Hurts week. So that's
It's. It,
that's fun,
there's been a
right?
rat in the building since like the Doug Peterson era, and
Yeah.
there's at this point in time there's only one holdover. So like I'm fairly confident I know exactly who that is. I think it's a wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
Um, but that's all right.
Defending this guy, AJ Brown.
Defending his guy AJ Brown, but he's been like it's there's been like a rat in the building for like a long time, and
It's
again, the
crazy.
only person that's unless it's unless it's Howie Roseman, unless Howie Roseman's the anonymous source. But,
That'd be hilarious. All right, but before we get into these edge rushers, you know how I've been pretty harsh on these guys, right?
yeah,
Um, Still pretty harsh. I came away still with the same like thought that I had at the beginning, where I just these guys like 20 spots later, I'm like, okay, I can live with it. Like someone we're gonna talk about, I can already imagine in depth is Mesidor. You can sell me on Mesidor in the like 70s. Someone has to make a decision on Mesidor in the 40s. And like that's the point of the edge rusher group that I'm really
someone's gonna
hesitant
make a
on.
decision on Mesidor in the first round. I'm so sure of it. I'm so sure of it
That's
because
terrifying.
if Mesidor was 22 years old, he's such a technically. We'll get into Mesidor.
Yeah.
I don't want to make
I'm
the
just
opening about Mesidor, but
you know what I'm saying? I'm just there's not a lot of value going through the edge
yes,
group
I
to
do
me.
agree with that. Yeah.
Um but I think we'll do rushers first. I think we teased it too much
I feel like
to
we
not
have
do
to.
edge rushers first. Um so I had 12, you had 11. I had some guys who just not really missed the cut, but guys I wanted to shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Barham from Michigan was one that I was
Yep.
very entertained by. I think there's value there. Tyreek Sapp out of Florida. I think he's a really good player. I don't know where he goes. I think like probably a day three player, and I think that's good value. And then Vinny Anthony out of Duke, where it's literally
Okay.
just all projection. Like there's no speed to power. There's like it's just he is a long physical freak and has some production here and there. So he was someone I wanted to shout out as well. But did you have any
Okay.
guys along that level in this
Yeah, yeah.
class?
There were three guys. There should have been four. Overton didn't make the list.
Yeah, no
For
chance.
me.
He was so bad this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, he was bad. But then like the three guys who were like sniffing it but didn't make it was Romello Height,
Mm-hmm.
um, Barham, as you said, and then the other Michigan guy. Derrick Moore. Again, Barham's so much fun because like he is such a good like edge defender, and he like has violent hand usage and like has showed the ability to bend, but like has not played the edge position like basically at all. It was only until like the second half of the season where he did that full time. So he's just like so technically unrefined. And he's just like super over aggressive, like as an individual, but like also like as a player.
He
And
reminds
then
me
like
of
Derek,
Oladejo last year. Remember how we had this conversation about Oladejo? And he goes
yeah,
in like the 50s. So it's like terrifying. Again, with a guy like Barham, who I like, I don't know how to project him, like where he's going to go and if there's value in it.
it is tough. And then I don't know if Derek Moore made your top 12, but like he's fun. He's like the exact like he's not gonna be in on like any rundowns, and like Michigan staff didn't even let him in on
Yeah.
rundowns at that point. But like he was a guy that like made his money just understanding leverage, under like using his motor and having like a very good speed to power. But again, like he was not trusted to do anything in the run game. And then Romello Height, first thing is he's just like old. And for like a dude that's old, like you're just not strong. And if you're 25 years old, like you shouldn't
What's
be getting
bigger,
pushed.
him being old or that he's 220? Like,
Well, exactly. And that's what it's like. If you're like an old guy playing in college, you shouldn't be getting bullied, and you just were. But I mean, he has great hand usage. He's very explosive, and like he's like savvy. Like he's and I would expect it at this point, like from a dude who's as old as you and has been in college football for as long as you have. Like he does have good football IQ, and he does like have head fakes, which you're not saying a lot about a lot of these guys. But like you're old and you're not powerful and you're small. So,
yeah.
yikes. So, but those are like the three guys that just missed the cut for my top 11.
All right, sounds good. I have Derek Moore in my bottom tier here. He's number
Gotcha.
10. Um, I could, yeah, I'll start with 12.
Yeah.
And 12 was R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. The more and
Mm,
more we got into R. Mason Thomas, the more and more I just disliked the player, and maybe I liked the scheme more. Is kind of the way I come away from it. Um, Again, like his first phase of the rush, all I could describe it as just fast and furious off the line of scrimmage.
sure.
Everything else, I think, is just it's really hard to get on board. I think it's bend and dip around the corner is what gets you in the door, and flash the speed to power. And I think that was the part that I was in on pretty early. But over the course of the season, it's just again another like not really a durable player at the size that he continues to play at. I
Yeah.
think he's missed games in every season, and I don't know. I'm willing to put him in my third round designated pass rushers tier, and I feel like that's a great place to sit him.
Yeah, that's that's funny. He's in my second tier of players. He's my edge six. So I
Okay.
have him like half. I view him half better than what you do, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it is all the athletic traits that he has. Again, he has twitchy. He has a great change of direction and acceleration, which allows him to have like a fantastic get off, one of the best in the class. I do think he's bendy, and I think like one of the big factors in which he gets to 6 for me and at 12 for you is like, do I wish he was better in the run game? Yes. But there were times throughout the course of the season and on his tape that I saw him like understanding, like, I'm a small player. You're going to pick on me in the run game, but he
Hmm.
understands that he's a small player. And I thought he did a really good job of like understanding that leverage and using that to like as benefit in the run game. I don't think he's an elite edge setter or run defender, but he did not get bullied as much as I thought he was going to when I like went into watching him, because he does understand how to use his leverage as a smaller player. And I think like that's the big difference between 12 and 6 there is I think he could be more than a DPR, and you have him in the DPR section. So
Who'd you have down here?
yeah, so I did not have a 12. So my 11, ironically enough, we had talked about this before we hit the record button here, is our 11s are the exact same. It's Cashius Howell. I am so far out on Cashius Howell because he projects as a DPR, and like that's the only thing that he can do. And I have concerns that he's going to even be a DPR at the next level because his arms are so small. In terms of like the things that he does well, I mean, it's like much of the same of our Mason Thomas. Like he has a very good quick first step. I think he has great ankle flexion, and like he has buttery hips that allows him to like have one of the best bends in the entire class, because it's not just the ankle flexion, but like he showed the ability to drop the hip and really get under it. And he did have like a great arsenal of pass rushing moves. And I have like what I saw for the guys that did have deep arsenals. You know, I put him down for him. He has the inside spin, the cross chop, and the speed to power, which are all like really awesome. And I'm glad that you have that and you are a good pass rusher. But it comes back to the fact that like you have a small frame, and even worse, you have like really tiny arms. You have 30-inch arms, which like it really, really concerns me, because every time now the tackle is going to get first contact. And when the tackle gets first contact and squares you up, that rep is going to be done. Because I have no, like, I don't have any trust that you're going to be able to figure something out past that with your power, because you are so small. And he does little, like, because of that, he just does little to stop the run. And I don't really project any run upside with him the way that I did with our Mason Thomas. And again, if you're going to be a DPR, I at least want to see something, which I did, but I just don't know how well it's going to project with how small your arms are. If you can put it all together and you can move past that 30-inch arm thing, like, it's going to be great, because there's a guy in this class that has small arms that is my edge one. It's not the deal breaker, but there's a lot of other question marks in his game that make him all the way down here at 11.
Yeah, like with Howell, it's similar to Bain, in which like I don't think he's reliant on his arms, and that's where the arms outlier comes in. But and again, like why he's over our Mason Thomas to me is like he's a much better athlete. I think just test wise, and he's
Sure.
bigger and he held up. But like just the big games, like he is washed away by these like athletic tackles. Go watch him against Gooseby, man. And like Gooseby has
Yeah.
his warts. Gooseby's probably a first round pick in this class. Like he gets washed away for 3 hours. He has his runs where he can bend around the corner, but just overall, like this is a third round designated pass rusher. Like that's why he's in this tier for me. And again, like you make the case for me in the 70s, I can get there, but it's like once we're
Yes.
moving him up into this range where like I
People are
think
talking
there's
back
just
end of the first. What are we doing?
I think he's going to. Like I think he's like likely gonna, just because of the
Yeah.
production and putting it all together. But I think gambling on the outlier is really tough with a player like this. Like I can gamble on the outlier at some point, but if I'm gambling on an outlier with like a top 45 pick, and if you're taking a top 45 edge, you likely didn't take one in the first round, so you're really putting a stamp on this room saying this guy is going to, bring juice and bring that energy, which I think he can, and he did, but I'm just not going to put him over the guys with, I think, cleaner backgrounds to me. Um,
Yeah. With your DPR tier, I'm willing to bet that our 10 is probably the exact same.
it's Derrick Moore, so it is not.
Oh, okay. So it's not the same. Do you want to get into Derrick Moore, and then I'll get into my 10?
You did a pretty good job talking about it. Like the size and the length is pretty prototypical. Like there's no outlier in terms of like good or bad. Um, really intelligent rusher, good leverage along the first contact, really complete bull rush. That speed to power conversion. I think his body is all connected his hips, with his hands, with his legs are all moving in one simultaneous direction during the rush phase. But you mentioned it, like third round designated pass rusher just never really showed anything in the run game. And like you said, like they kind of hit him in the run phase. So it's really tough to project him more than what he is at 10 for me. I really like him. Like I think he's a really solid player to add to your room, and there's no like deficiency that I'm afraid
Yeah,
of, that like this is the one damning thing that I just don't think you put it all together. But there is no there is no ceiling that I'm like, man, I'm chasing with this guy. Like he's just a solid role player where there's someone in this class who is very similar to him, but I do see the ceiling of being more than what he is.
sure, sure. My 10 is Malachi Lawrence. And I have Malachi Lawrence and Cashius Howell in their own little DPR tier, which is really funny that we kind of did
And he's
that.
not in my DPR tier.
Really? Okay, there you go. I had really big concerns about his ability to hold up to the next level. He's in front of Cassius Howell for me because, like, at the bare minimum, like, you're going to be a DPR, but, like, I don't have those same outlier questions that I did with Cassius Howell. So that's how you find yourself in front of Cassius Howell. Here for me, he has all of like the pass rush moves that you could ever want from a guy, aside from like your power move, like your bull rush. He just doesn't have that because he's not a powerful player. He does have very good bend. He's very explosive. And this dude's motor, it runs hot. He is chasing guys down. He does not give up. He is relentless. But that comes back to like all these really positive things about you having that great first step and the great bend and the pass rush moves and everything. It can be all great and dandy, but it to me, I saw a guy that had no anchor like at all in the run game. Like he was getting bullied, he was getting pushed off the spot when he was playing up against more powerful tackles. Like you could visibly see him get stunned by powerful punches. And like, again, you have a really hot and relentless motor, but at times that kind of gets you into a little bit of trouble. This is one of the more things that I think you can develop more so than the other two concerns. But he does have a developing IQ. He can kind of get tricked with misdirection screens, all of that different stuff. But again, it's just his ability to uh, it's his ability to hold up against power that really has me saying yikes here.
Yeah, it's the athlete and the length that I'm just, and it's why he's in my archetype to bet on category. Like just the size and the length and the athletic prowess with all of the production that he's had over the past like 3 years. Just willing
Sure.
to gamble on it. He's explosive off the ball in the rush phase. He's explosive in chasing down tackles. And why I think I'm willing to bet on him is I just don't think he's fully filled out as a player. I think he can still
Mhm.
get stronger in that upper body and be a guy that again isn't this like very notable run defender, but because he has such long arms, just being able to be enough of an edge setter, if that makes sense. Where I think the other guys, I'm like, I have no like feel for what you can do on rundowns at all. And so
Gotcha.
that's why he's at 7. I think he's got a really good bag.
And
His explosive step inside, he had a Euro step he flashed a few times to get inside. So again, like I'm all in on it. I think this is a player that, again, depends on where the value finds itself, but this is a firm second round player to me. I feel pretty confident in the top 64 picks. Maybe not like the top of round 2, but
mhm.
in that frame, I feel pretty confident with gambling on this player.
Okay, who was your 9?
Mesidor. So I had I had Akheem Mesidor. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had Akheem Mesidor at 9, and so this is where like I knew that this is the conversation to have. He's a high effort and motor player with a deep bag. He gears up like moment when he turns the corner. Like you feel him, like getting onto that outside tackle's shoulder. Um, what is it? Like the way he stabs inside is just
Yeah.
very impressive. Like he's a very just heavy-handed player. And I think
Yes.
most of his production came when he would slant inside and kind of slash inside. That was also to his detriment, where I think every run
I have
phase,
that. Yeah.
it felt like, and again, he could be taught this at Miami. And so like I don't want to put this as like this detriment, but like his rundowns, he would just kind of slash inside and then he'd be out of it.
Yep.
Like he'd be out of the play. But with the way like Basanti, the way he would kind of fill behind him, it felt like it was taught that way at times.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You don't know until we see it. But even then, like this is where it gets really hard with the player. Like, am I really gambling? He's not this incredible athlete. He's not uber long or anything like in that outlier category. And he's not very powerful. So I'm like, what do you want me to do with him? All right? Like, what do you want me to do other than putting him in the 3rd round? Because it's really hard to get there with anything more than this to me. I think the tape is fun. The tape is good. I'm not going to get there. You talk so it doesn't feel like we're just
no, it's fine.
Really
I have him. I have him at 3. He's my 3rd edge rusher in this class. Right.
Okay, dude. Okay.
I think so much of it depends on where you are as a team. Right. Like if you're a team that's ready to win now, you're probably going to get this guy. If you're a team that knows you're going to be in a rebuild and you're going to take some time, Mesidor is not going to be the guy. He's old. He's going to be 25 when the season starts. You're going to maybe get a second, like you'll probably get a second contract out of him, and that'll be about it. So I think again, a lot of it just depends on where you are as a team. For the same reasons that you're like he doesn't have like this outlier positive trait is the reason that I'm like very high on him. He doesn't have like this elite trait, but he also doesn't really have a whole lot of deficiencies aside from the whole ducking inside. And that's kind of what I have for him. Like, I think he's a ready-made player that's going to step in and is going to get you some very productive plays, both in the run and in the pass immediately. And you're not going to have to think about it. Like, he's going to hit. You're going to be fine. He might not be like the most amazing guy in the entire world, but you're going to make that pick and you're going to be happy that you made that pick because he's going to be productive for a very long time. He's a great hand fighter. He has all those pass rush moves that we talked about. I think this is a big thing that we see a little bit different. I think he has a very explosive first step. Like, I think he can get off the line in a flash. And as you said, when he turns around that corner, he's going to get after you and you're going to feel it. This guy doesn't give up. Same way that we kind of talked about Lawrence there. He's going to hawk you down. He's going to run plays down from behind. As you said, too, he's an effective stunner. They use him a lot. Love to see it. And then I think he set the edge when he wanted to. And that's the big question, because that then goes into like those cons or weaknesses, however you want to say it. And the first two that I have as well, he's old. And then the second one I have, he ducks inside. And it is quite annoying when it happens, and you're kind of screaming at yourself. You're talking about lane integrity and gap integrity, scratching your head while you set the edge a little bit better. And then he falls down like a lot. Like there are too many, especially when he goes inside, where I'm like, why are we on the ground? There were too many times where he just was on the ground and he had fallen down whether he got tripped or didn't have the contact balance or something. But again, I just think it comes down to the philosophy of the player. I think he's going to be ready made, and I don't think you're going to have to worry about it because he is a fine pass rusher and he's a fine run stop. run defender, and I do think he has really good pass rush moves and explosive step, and that's how we get from 3 to 9 here, right? But I loved him. I don't know. I know people vary so much on him. I know some people are here on 3. I know some people are all the way down with you. I'm really interested to see where he ends up going. But I really enjoyed watching this guy. So
I think another thing with him that like we can talk about how he played in a ton of big games, and he did this year, and like this was his really 1 year of overwhelming production after the
yeah,
foot injury, because what was it, 23 is he's
yeah,
just wiped from the season, but
yeah,
he didn't really play any tackles that I was like NFL tackle, and so that was another, again, is that his own detriment? Not really, but it's something I would want to see going against
sure.
NFL competition. Like, you're feasting on the ACC, man. And once we got
Carter
to,
Smith.
okay, all right, but even then, I just
Yeah,
couldn't get there. I couldn't get there as like an NFL every down role player, and that's
gotcha.
why, as a guy that, and again, like you said, with the run game, well, let's just take him off the field so he doesn't have to think about whether he wants to or not.
Sure.
But I have him at 9. It's a lot of good, and when it becomes a lot of good, I just want something to be great, if that makes sense. So that's why I
Yep.
have him at 9. What did you have?
Yeah, I had Gabe Jacas at 9.
He didn't make my
So
list.
he didn't make your list at all.
No.
Okay, there's going to be a couple guys. If you end up being higher on my guy, I'm going to be a little upset with you here.
All right.
Also, I'm also really interested too. Do you have Arvell Reese in the edge?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that makes up the difference. Arvell Reese won't be in my edge ranking,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes up some of the difference there. No, Gabe Jacas, I liked him. He was fun. First off, he has a very good frame. Him and this next guy, I see very similar to one another. That probably gave away who that next guy is for you, Matt. But Gabe Jacas has a really good frame. He's 6'4", 260. He has a good first step for a guy that is his size. He gets off the ball quicker than what you would think. It's not like this elite first step where you're like, whoa. But for a guy as big as he is, you don't expect him to be moving as well as he does. And this guy does have really good body control in terms of contact balance, and he understands leverage when he showed flashes of understanding his leverage. I want to preface that because I will be talking about it later with him. And he's a guy that just grinds you down over the course of the game because he is so big. He is very powerful, and he has very powerful hands, and he has a good motor for a guy as big as he is. And over the course of the game, he just starts wearing you down and wearing you down and wearing you down. And you can start seeing it like visibly affect these tackles by the end of it. And then finally, when he can get into the chest in the run game, he does a good job of establishing control. Again, that's when he can. In terms of like the things he doesn't do very good, this shouldn't come as a surprise. He's a big guy. He doesn't have good change of direction. It's actually bad change of direction.
Yeah.
He stands tall sometimes. There are times too where he might be wearing himself out a little bit. I had talked. He understands his leverage, which is good. But there are times where he just pops straight up out of his stance, and immediately you're exposing your chest, and at times the rep can be done. And then for a guy as big and as powerful as you are, you don't lean on that strength enough in the run game. Like I would expect you to hold up in the run game better than what you did and better than what you showed on tape. And you just didn't. It wasn't like this glaring like outlier, like, wow, you're awful at it. But I just wanted to see better tape of it. And it just wasn't there compared to the next guy who's very similar to him, but is probably the second best run defender in the entire class. But yeah, he was 9 for me, but didn't make your list. So that's fine.
Yeah, it's the pass rush plan. I think is a lot of like I'm gonna go through you, and if I
Yeah.
don't, then I'm not. And so I don't like the plan. And then at the same time, you mentioned it with the run game. Like he got washed away by Big Ten tackles enough times that I was like, well, I don't think you're good at this either. So again, like the power profile, and then the other part of like Illinois rushers is you're kind of climbing to your peak and you kind of max out right at your senior year, and there's not really much place to go beyond in the
Mm,
NFL. I think Bielema is a great developer in that sense, where he gets the most out of his players without really sending them to the NFL with this unlimited potential, like a Penn State or something like that. So I
mm,
I don't see a lot of projection about how he's going to get so much better than what he is right now, and I don't like the player right now. So that's
sure.
kind of where we get to where I'm not going to put him in the designated pass rusher tier because don't love him as a pass
Yeah.
rusher, and I'm not going to throw him up way too high or anything like that, or sneak him in if I'm not feeling like
Yeah.
I can get the return on investment.
Yeah.
Because like in consensus, he's like in the 50s, so it's like whoa, like that
Yeah.
spooks me. It spooks me.
Yeah.
But at 8, I had Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee. Another
Okay.
one of these like just uber long players. These uber long
Okay.
twitched up players out of Tennessee. Again, he uses he uses his frame as an advantage. So I love to see guys where it's like where he has it connected to him, so he uses it to his advantage. Where like I think there's some guys where like you see it in the NBA a lot, where I think there's a long wing defender, but do you use the arms to your advantage? I think he does along the first stage of his rushes. When he widens out both in the run and the rush phase, like he constantly makes it a problem for the opposing tackles and even like running backs who are trying to get to that edge. Like I think that's when his
Mm,
speed really flashes and flashes the arms to go out and corral the players. So Joshua Josephs was someone that again next to Malachi Lawrence, where I'm gonna gamble on this upside and gamble on this athlete to figure it out. And there were times like he worked Monroe Freeling. He worked him for all day. And again, we've talked about Freeling where he got better down the stretch. But even then, I think Joseph's plan and overall prowess along, getting to that outside shoulder showed up all day. And I can work with that.
yeah. No, absolutely. He was the guy that I was telling you beforehand. He's my tied for six with our Mason Thomas here. Um, I went back and forth on these guys. He was a guy I did not know much about before this process, and like fell in love with all of the traits that he had to offer. Absolutely loved him. I thought he had a great first step and a great get off. Like he was consistently beating SEC tackles on that get off alone, which was really eye opening for guys big as he is. As you said, he has really long arms. They're just above 34-inch arms, which really allowed him to create that first contact and convert that into speed to power. He showed a litany of different pass rush moves as well, and he showed the ability to set them up. And like he would tease something earlier in the start of the game, and then as the game went on, he would like recognize that and set up a plan over the course of the game, which is really fun to see when a guy can do that. And I thought he had some very, very good football IQ, the ability to sniff out screens, didn't really bite much on misdirections. Has a really good frame. I'd like to see him to add more weight on it. That's going to be one of the
Yeah.
cons there.
It's similar
And
to the
then,
Lawrence thing where I think he has it to add weight, and I think he's going to. Like I that is a part of my analysis instead of a con to like yours, where
mm,
I'm projecting it. I'm hopeful that it continues to rise.
yes. And for me, the difference between him and Lawrence is I think he has some of that already. Like, I think he's
Mhm.
coming into the league with more strength than what Lawrence has.
Yeah.
And I have that as like, I think he has fine strength to set the edge, is what I put like in my little write up for him. but then that goes to like this weird kind of middle ground, leads right into like the weakness there. Like, I would like to see you add more weight. You have the frame for it. Could you please? We get into this weird like middle territory where like you do have this awesome first step. So there's a reason we're not adding more weight, because you don't want to lose that first step. I don't know. And then he doesn't have like the best anchor in the world. He's stiff. He's not a bendy guy. He has awesome athletic traits, but he's just not bendy at all. And then he had like a really bad missed tackle rate. He had a 23.5% missed tackle rate, which is like not good at all. Which again kind of makes you like scratch your head a little bit when you're like, your arms are very long. Why are we missing some of these tackles?
Well, and think about Tennessee's scheme and like last year with like an Omar Norman Lott. Like, I just don't think they have guys along the interior that can close and shut down run stuff. So all along the defensive line, you have this major emphasis to tackle, and like he's still figuring that out because of the strength in the arms. So it's like, I blame that more on Tennessee, if that makes sense.
That's fair. So, but we view this guy very similarly. Again, he's a traits guy. He had a good presser percentage. He didn't really convert those always to sacks. That's one of those things that it's like, as it was pressure percentage is
like, he doesn't convert. Like, he wasn't a major sack guy. Dude, he forced like 7 fumbles in his career. Like, it's crazy. So it's like these uber splash plays that he has along his tape that I was just very intrigued by. And I don't know, like, I'm with you on him. Like, I think we both see him eye to eye. I think there is value in gambling on this player, especially with the way like the league is trending towards these long, athletic, first step guys. And did you mention his production when he would slant inside? There was something there. Like, again, like that was a part of his power that I wasn't expecting, and I thought he was really good at. Because think back to Pierce last year. I went into this like, this is going to be James Pierce again, right? And there's someone else who's James Pierce. But
there is
like,
someone else who's James
Pierce. Like, Joseph's, he has this intriguing blend and this intriguing rusher prowess that I was, put him at 8.
It's upside that I'm willing. This is one of those things that like I'm willing to swing on the upside. Like, I would take him a clear round before I would take Cashius Howell. I really had a lot of joy watching this guy play. Again, he's technically 7 for me. He was 6A, 6B. You flipped him and R. Mason Thomas back and forth. But my 8 was Zion Young. And it's funny because his comparison is to like another guy in this class. Like, he's Keldric Faulk light. Like, if you can't get Keldric Faulk, just draft Zion Young in the second round. Like, and I hate doing that, but like, that's truly what it was. I had like went like back to back, and it was like at first not a good idea to watch Keldric Faulk and then Zion Young. So I'm like, what do you do that Keldric Faulk like doesn't? But then, I separated to watch him out a little bit different. I came to like him back again. This is another guy kind of like Gabe Jacas. Like I said, I have these guys ranked very similarly. He's just one spot in front of Gabe there. He too also has a very good frame. He's 6'5", 260. He also plays with some very strong hands, powerful punches, has great arms. He knows how to extend them, when to extend them. He can reset the line of scrimmage. And unlike Gabe Jacas, he can set a very, very good edge. Again, I think he's the second best edge or run defending edge in this class outside of Keldric Faulk. And I think he has a bit better of a bend than what Gabe Jacas has. For him, he's just not very athletic. He has a slow first step. He's not very laterally quick. He's not super twitchy. He has kind of the same issue as Gabe Jacas, where he tends to just stand up sometimes. I'd like to see you stay lower. And for him, he doesn't seem to have really a counter at all. When the first thing goes wrong, just kind of seems like the rep is dead. But again, he has a lot of really fun things that you do like for the size you have. You bend very well, and you're very powerful. So that's why he's here at 8 for me.
Yeah, he's at 6,
Okay.
and just the overall, like the upper body, he just is he's so yoked. Like he's such a strong player throughout his hands and
Sure.
that upper body. Just the prototypical size, length, and speed mixed with that upper body strength, and everything similar to Moore that I talked about. Everything feels connected in the combat stage. Like everything feels
Yeah.
together, and he's always moving forward in that sense. So I'm very intrigued from that standpoint. Comparative to him and Jacas as like pass rushers, they're pretty similar in terms of like I don't love your plan, but I
Yeah.
have more faith in Young's just ability and strength to throw off defenders. Like I'm not
I
projecting
agree.
Zion Young to be like a 10 sack guy at all, but I
No.
think there is something in terms of like if you can be a great run defender and 5 or 6 sacks, like that's needed. And that's why I can't put him lower than Lawrence or Joseph's in the next, tier. Like Zion Young sets the new tier. And you could probably figure out who 4 and 5 are just by the name of it. Like powerful edge set role players. Like those are the guys. Like and just drop them on there and drop them onto your team in the 30s and the 40s and it reminds me of like Keon White, Derrick Hall, what those like kind of guys a few years ago were hoped to be,
Yeah.
and my team took Isaiah Foskey. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like chasing that theoretical sack production and upside can really get in the way of just a good player
Good player.
who has every box checked. So I would have loved to see him do
He's
some athletic testing though. Like I would want to see him weighed next to other players in this
yeah.
class.
Zion Young is one of these players in a draft class where you're going to be doing a lot of projection. He's one of the guys that I think he's just going to be a safe pick, right? Like he might not be again this 10 sack guy like you were talking about, but I in 10 years I don't think you're going to look back on Zion Young and be like, "Whew, wow, that was a bust of a second round pick." Like he might not be amazing, and he may not live up to the second round value, but he's not going to be awful. And I think he just has the ability to step in, and he's just going to have a role, and he's going to do that role very very well, and maybe that morphs into something more. But I'm very confident that a team is going to get something from
Get bang
Zion
for our
Young
buck, yeah.
because his floor is so high.
Yeah. I agree. So that was what, your 8?
That was my 8, and then my
We've
7
had
and
6 and
6
7. Yeah, okay.
were yeah Joshua
We're
and
into the
Mason
top 5,
Thomas. Yes.
right? And then I
Yep.
have Reese added here where you don't. So,
Yep. Yep. We're in my top 5, and we've already done one of my top 5 in Mesidor. So I have 4 guys yet to be named.
okay, I'll do 5. I have TJ Parker. TJ
I
Parker
have
out
him at
of
4.
Clemson. Um, Powerful hands, just another shade of what Zion Young brought. Just powerful hands mixed with long arm moves to mask away tackles. That's his finishing product in the pass game, and that's why he's higher than Zion Young. Because I think there is a plan and a move that he can really get to, and mask away these guys and get into the backfield. Um, and then in the run game, like he stacks and sheds with the best of them, and that's why he's in
Yep.
this role, like this role player tier, where I don't have much projection. Where I love you as a pass rusher. I did in 24, so it's like it's weird that
Yeah.
like him being at 5 feels really low, but just did not put it together, and no one with Clemson really put it together this year. So maybe it's just
Yeah.
that. Maybe it's the development progress of Clemson where I think they kind of just peaked out, and maybe getting him into an NFL org will help him figure it out. But again, another player where I see him in this range, like that second round range, but it's like because of the edge rusher, like 17 to the Lions is a possibility, and it's like, whoa, that's like again,
25, yeah.
it's a tough reach onto the player that I think is, again, similar to Zion Young, where it's like I'd never think he's going to be a double-digit sack guy, but he is going to be around for a bit and affect you positively on the defensive end. Like I there's not much to add when I just did Zion Young, where I think they're both heavy-handed pluggers along the edge with
Yeah.
limited pass rush prowess at this point.
Yes. Yep. I agree. I had TJ Parker at 4, a step above what I assume is probably your fourth guy. I think we just flipped them spots there. You covered basically all the boxes. The only reason that he's in front of Keldric Faulk for me is because I think there's less projection for him, whereas like Keldric Faulk might have a lower floor but has a much higher ceiling, where TJ Parker I think has a higher floor but a lower ceiling. So it's the give and take there, whatever you want to do. I flipped those guys back and forth. Again, you covered really everything that I wanted to say on TJ Parker. So Keldric Faulk was my 5. Again, TJ was 4 for me. Keldric Faulk was my 5. This dude is like massive, and just in terms of like traits wise, it doesn't really get much better than Keldric Faulk, because he's 6'6", 270 and moves like a guy who's like 6'4", 250. So he's a massive dude and has really, really good movement ability to go alongside with that. Like he has great lateral change of direction. He had good bend, or at least he showed the ability to have good bend, especially when doing the loop drill there at the combine. Sometimes it didn't always translate, but you showed you could do it. He's, for a big dude, this shouldn't come as a surprise, very strong, especially at the point of attack. His ability to just shed and get off of guys really allows him to be an excellent run defender. Again, the best in the class, I think, bar none. And I don't really think it's particularly close at this point in time. He has the ability to be a two-gapper alongside of the edge because his ability to lock out and shed, which is fantastic. And for a big guy, he has, again, a high motor. I loved it. He didn't get tired out easily, which was awesome to see. And I don't know if you saw this on tape, but he kills pullers. Like it's like when someone is pulling to try to close him out, like good luck, buddy. Like you're running into like a cement wall trying to pull against Keldric Faulk. It was I had some laughs watching it. But all of these amazing tools that he has, he's just very, very, very raw as a pass rusher. And he needs help putting everything together. He doesn't use his hands. He doesn't have an amazing first step. He showed the ability to have a bend, but didn't always use it. So again, you have this guy who is immediately going to step in, be really good at setting the edge, being really good at stopping the run, and has the potential to put together and be a very good pass rusher. We haven't seen it, so you're projecting, and you're doing a lot of projecting at that, but he could get there someday. That's Keldric Faulk. I think NFL teams are going to be a lot higher on this guy than the media and the draft community. He just seems like the guy that like teams take and people are like, ugh, Keldric Faulk? Really? Like, I hate that pick. But I wouldn't be shocked if this dude's a top 15 pick just because of all of the athletic upside that he has. But yeah, he's fine for me.
Yeah, I agree with. I think he's a top 15 player for me.
Yeah.
Just again with that, the upside to chase in this class, I think is just worth the risk, because I look around and it's just there's not a lot to me. But focusing on, because I think you delivered the pros as perfect as I could talk about his run stuff, and like he's a great run defender, but like the biggest con to me right now is like even if the motor is good in the second phase of rushes for a guy who's as big as he is, it's just not good enough. Like that is where he need if we are going to achieve what we're trying to achieve with Keldric Faulk, it is going to be in that second phase of rushes where he just outworks somebody else across from him, and it just didn't
Mhm.
happen enough. And so that's the big. And then like the production point of it, like go watch Keldric Faulk and go watch like the way he's lined up. Like go find him in 4-eye on third down, and it's like
Yeah.
really like what are we doing? And
Yeah.
again, is that to save him from himself, where they just don't think he's a bendy enough player to get to the corner? Maybe, but then he showcases it at the combine and he does all like the on-field drills, and it's like, oh, this guy looks different than everybody else here. Like there is that feeling with him, and yeah, I think it's been a up and down thing with me. He's not an overwhelmingly like explosive player off the ball, but he
Yeah.
checked the boxes with the jumps. So it's like I think he went into it like the combine where it's like I'm shooting for these like 35-inch vert, 9.9 broad. That's like stereotypical, and then you add in the guys like 275. So it's like what else do you want from me? Um,
Yeah.
and so with him like chasing that ceiling, I think that's the biggest thing with me, and why like I inevitably put Bailey over him, where I was like I really want to put Falk over him. Like I think there's this trait, like there's this ability as a run defender that I just feel so confident in, and I think he could get there as a pass rusher, but I ended up keeping Bailey over him just based on that point alone, where there's a world where it just never gets there, right? There's
Yeah.
a world that it just never achieves. I want him to use his arms more. Like you are long as hell, dude. I want him to
Yeah.
use that in to just mask off tackles, because I think a team is going to play him at tackle. I don't think there is a team that really is like, oh, drafted him to move him inside. Um, where like a guy a few years ago who I really liked in Darius Robinson, where it was like, oh, the appeal is both in and out. Where Falk, I think he's the athlete to play on the edge. So we'll see how that goes. But that's my biggest thing, and that's what I wanted to focus on with him.
Yeah.
Where that's the difference between him becoming a star and not. Like the other thing too, um, like he's an outstanding character from
Yeah.
everything you read. Like I heard a story from Dane Brugler where he used part of his NIL package to fund some walk-ons. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible at 20 years old. He's going to turn 21 right as the season starts. So you just have this major track record, and that's where, can you chase that in that rookie contract? And again, like it's versus Mesidor, because you have him over him. It's just really hard to pass on all these traits and ability with Falk in terms of a good player walking in the door with Mesidor. And it's like I'm still
Yes.
not confident he's like a 10 sack guy, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I have my top two left. Again, I'd imagine your top three at this point for
Yeah.
you. Again, Arvell Reese.
We'll do Reese
Um,
last.
yeah, we'll do him last. Is he? Quick question: Is he? Do you have him in front of Bain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you
I
go.
finally got there.
Yeah. So I'm not. Yeah, I'm not quite there. Arvell Reese is fun. Um, he'll be in my linebackers. I'm not fully convinced he's going to be in edge, full time edge. That's why he's going to be a
And I don't think that's
linebacker.
wrong. Like I think he might be a better off ball linebacker. So it's like
Yeah. So that's how we get that difference there. But I digress. You talked about David Bailey and having David Bailey in front of Falk. The question is do you have David Bailey in front of Bain?
no.
Okay, good. I have David Bailey as two behind Bain. I imagine you have him three behind Bain and
Yep.
Reese. Um, I guess you take it away and then I'll do the Bain.
I mean, the shot out of a cannon explosiveness, I think that's
Yeah.
what gets you in the door. The quick twitch to duck corners against these inferior tackles. The production was off the charts. Again, Big 12 tackles, guys. Like, I'm just going to be hesitant. He has long arms. Like, it's not like he's tiny in terms of that length. He can always the way he widens out, similar to Joseph's, as I mentioned, it just gains even more momentum, and he's just looking to do that. Just gear up,
Mm-hmm.
gear up, gear up to this like elite top speed. It's not even like he needs to get up to past the tackle. It just gears him up to this elite level, and that's where I compare him to James Pierce last year, where like we saw James Pierce walk in the door as a 10 sack guy. I know he has all the off field stuff, and he's not going to play probably in the NFL again. But as a prospect, like what he was able to do widening out that corner, there is clearly a place to put him in the NFL. The only thing is with David Bailey, he's going to be like in my 10 to 12 to 15 category, like probably next to Faulk if I had to imagine. There's like he's leading odds to be number 3. And it's like, ugh, that's hard, dude. That's I don't want to shoot down the player, but like as a run defender, I think all the traits are there to like figure it out if he wants
I
to.
think he got better as the season went on too.
Yeah, I think there is a want to and can do attitude, especially because I don't think the D tackles did as much as I thought they were like going into it as I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
But just overall, like the 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 power's not an issue because I think he is so overwhelming as like an outside the corner tackle or like getting around the corner of the tackle. Like
Yeah.
that's where with a guy like Lawrence, I want to see you flash it because you don't have that elite explosiveness and top gear that Bailey has.
Yeah. We see the again we see this player very similarly. I understand why in theory teams will be in on him in the top 5. Again, I can't get there. Um but you're talking about a guy that could come in and be a 12 sack guy. I
Mm-hmm.
understand why that could be enticing. I definitely understand why that can be enticing. But again, as you said, the main thing is there's still some questions about your ability, especially on rundowns. Again, I think it got better. I think at times people overblow how bad it is. I don't think it's as bad as what some people make it out to be. And that's why he can still go top 10 and be just fine. But it is just the small frame and its strength. I'm not quite there with you on the strength stuff. I the play strength is really really ugly for me at times, and then he over pursued like a lot. Like
Which
he bit.
that's just gonna happen. That's just like I think that's just the nature of it. Like that's just gonna happen with a player like that. That happened a ton with Pierce last year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But as you said, he has all of those really really nice things that you're looking for in terms of someone's ability to translate as a very good pass rusher with amazing quickness, elite bend, change of a direction that really allows him to inside counter as well. It kind of seems to be the maybe the focal point of the show is people's ability to inside counter here. But he showed the ability to do that. Um, and he has again another very big arsenal of pass rush moves. There's not many guys that can
The
pull
spin was
off like
hilarious.
the spin is fun, and it's like an inside spin too. He
Yeah,
does it's an
yeah.
inside
Like
spin.
he just messed with Big 12 tackles, dude.
Yeah, but the big thing there is like he has a ghost move. Not a lot of guys coming out of college have a ghost move, and it's fun to see him like flash the hands and have the tackle like, oh, I'm gonna go and get you. And he's like, just kidding, I got you. Not a lot of guys have the ghost move, so it always is it's just a fun treat when someone has it. But again, he as you said, he's gonna step in and he's gonna be at a bare minimum a very good pass rusher. And then can we build everything else out in the run game? Time will tell, but at least you're getting someone who's going to help you on third down passing downs. 2 for me. And then Bain. Bain is, I think he's probably my number 1 player in this class. I
Mm.
uh, he's my number one player in this class. You seem to not like that. I adored watching Bain. I've never really moved off of him, despite the short arms. And that's gonna be like the two big things. I'll get like the weaknesses out of the way for him. Like the two big things for him was short arms, as people have talked about. And then this is part of the reason with like the Mesidor thing is like the gap discipline was not always there, which makes you kind of go back to, is it a scheme thing? Because he does a lot of the ducking inside, not quite as much as Mesidor did, but he didn't always have the gap discipline that you would have liked. But I think like immediately this dude is going to be a good pass rusher, maybe not quite as good as David Bailey, but he's going to be a good pass rusher, and he's going to be very sturdy against the run. He is a shorter guy, but he's stout. Like he's sturdy. He's built out. He has very powerful legs. He is again another guy with a really good pass rush.
There's 300 pounders at D tackle, and he's more powerful than them in this class.
That's
dude.
Exactly.
He's like 260.
Yes. He's very stout. He's very sturdy, as you said. He has power. He's very powerful, but he's a fluid athlete for like as kind of like solidly built as he is, that you don't expect.
Bend.
What?
He got some bend to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's fluid. He has bend. He has a good first step. He's physical at the point of attack that allows him to shed off blocks, which makes you excited for what he could be at the next level as a run defender. He, again, he has a good bend, which allows him to take really tight angles and takes the most efficient passes to the quarterback. And then he just doesn't give up. So he's a guy that's going to come out and he's going to be good at every phase of the game that you're going to want for him. And the only thing you're going to say is, well, he has short arms and he's not like this athletic freak. I don't care because he found ways to work around it at the highest level of college football when he wanted to. I'm not saying ACC is the highest level of college football.
Yeah.
But like he took over the playoff games.
Yeah.
Like he was a clear like tone setter for those games. And again, not once did I watch the tape and I'm like, yikes, those short arms of yours really put you at a bad disadvantage. He found ways to work around the one thing that people want to knock him for. And that's, again, there's not really many weaknesses that concern me for him. And you're just going to get a dude immediately that is going to be fluid but sturdy. He's going to get you a good production on pass rush, and he's going to set a good edge. There's not really much more you can ask from a guy they're going to spend top 5 pick on than what he offers, aside from can you put 2 extra inches on your arms. I don't care. I didn't care last year with Will Campbell. I don't care this year. Maybe I should. It was rough for Will Campbell, but I don't think it was an arm thing for him. I digress. Again, he's my number one player in the class. I haven't really ever moved off of that. I loved Rueben Bain.
Mm-hmm. That's my big, like, you did the mocking voice where it's like talking about like the arms and the athletic tools and things like that. And I yes, those are overblown, but to me that's the difference between him and Reese, where it's like I see the Reese superstar potential. Like I see that with the way he is able to gear up and the way he's get around the edge. Where Bain, it's just like I have no fear in failure, even with the outlier arms, but are you ever going to be this super duper star ceiling that I'm chasing? And that's where I think the disconnect comes in just enough with like the number 1 overall player. Dude, he is so effing strong. Like it's crazy how he moves people. But like just the violence at the point of attack, everything you want in like hand technique, I can really tell that like he is, that like student of the game, because he had Jason Taylor as his coach, as D-line coach, and just everything in terms of like the stab and swipe into the backfield, all through it. Like I think what he has in his hands and the technical gifts there. Um, just keep going. I don't think I need to add anything with Bain just because I think you covered it pretty soundly. Like he's going to be top 7 player for me. I think is
He's
where I have him right now.
yeah,
And again, like it's probably just because I have the hesitation of like, are you
sure.
ever going to be the linchpin of a pass rush attack? I don't know, but I know you're a really good player and a really stout and strong player. And that's the other thing
Sure.
too. Is like mixed with the arms. Like, does that come with this maxed out? Well, it doesn't matter. Like this maxed out players are already really good. So it's like
Yeah.
that's the part where there's not a lot of projection with him. But
No.
yeah,
He's 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 a slightly more athletic Brandon Graham.
yeah.
Brandon Graham
That's
is
the
a
comp
player that's
everyone
played in the
keeps coming
league.
back to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's a dude that's played in the league for 12 years now at this
yeah,
point, and he's been a very important piece to the defense. Again, hasn't always been like fantastic on the edge, but he's enough to keep him on the field. And also, like in the same vein with Brandon Graham, I Bain can do some NASCAR package stuff. Like on pass rush, if you have like a good third pass rusher,
yeah.
go ahead, kick Bain inside.
And I think
Let him
that
rush
speaks
the
to his
passer from the inside.
strength. Like that
Yeah,
speaks to his like we could send him at a guard and he'll figure it out.
yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah.
Number 1, Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese right now. Let's see. I updated a few days ago. Arvell Reese, number 2 overall player, behind only Jeremiah Love, where I don't take into
Positional
positional
value.
value into
Yep.
my big board. I just do grades. So Arvell Reese, my second highest graded player, just big, broad, long, incredibly athletic, versatile player, like everything you
Yeah.
would want. And it took me so long to get here, but I'm here, guys. I finally got here. Um, I think the way he sets up in he's got moves he can go to in the rush phase. I think him in space again, like talking as a linebacker because I think we have to. Just him in space and the way he's able to cover ground is incredibly impressive. The way he's able to, I think his best stuff was when he was like a blitzer off ball. So I want to
Yes.
see, I like that is the biggest thing that I want the Jets because I'm already taking into account the Jets are going to take him. I think that's what the Jets need to do is like lining him up to next to Demario Davis. Like those are 2 really good blitzing linebackers, and like I'm really intrigued to see. And you think about Aaron Glenn and the way that the way he runs a lot of that cover 1 man to man stuff coming from the Dennis Allen tree. Like I think there is an aggression that he can tap into with a guy like Reese.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's an every down like stand him up at edge right now. But if you want him to be, then send him over there, and that's all your time is going to be used on. Like if
Yes.
that's what you want him to be, then send him, and it's a 100%. If you don't, I'm completely with it. I think that's kind of the part that's really hard because again, when you're projecting these versatile players, it gets like it's really hard with like a Jalen Walker last year. But I have no concerns in the length department with Reese that I did with Walker, and they sent
Yeah.
Walker to the edge room and said none of this other stuff. Like you're not going to do any of this other stuff, and that wasn't perfect in year 1. But again, if you're going to send him there, take time to figure it out. But I don't think I need to spend too much time on Reese. I think it's just chasing that ceiling again.
Yes.
We're chasing Micah Parsons, right? Like that's why you take him. You're chasing that. You're chasing the very limited production that he had in college. It was only 2 seasons, but the way he moves is just really really good stuff. And even like the
It's
combine
freakish.
stuff, it's just like you can really tell. And also the other thing, like why did him and Jeremiah Smith look exactly alike? Am I the only one who was like I saw him like when he was doing stuff at the combine,
Now I
like
need
the
to look
interview
this up.
stuff? I was like
Now I need to look
that's
this up.
Jeremiah Smith. Am I like dumb? But they look very similar, and no, I don't think that's wrong to say. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into him
Yeah,
next
there's
week.
not enough to bounce off of right now. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little difficult. I hold on, I'm really getting to the bottom of this here really quickly.
good
I
podcast.
see it. I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see where that's coming from. Anyway, sorry. It took me down a
It
rabbit
was like
hole
one of
there.
those. It was just like a video along the timeline where it's like he's up on the podium. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
no way. Wait, how did
Yeah.
he do this? Oh, that's Arvell Reese. But
Yeah, he skipped his final year. I just don't. I don't know if his home is at a full time edge. Um, Again, this shouldn't come as a surprise. It definitely doesn't come as a surprise to you, Matt, and it definitely shouldn't come as a surprise to a lot of our listeners. I have always had questions about these tweener off ball guys that might be
yeah.
edges. Where's the home
Well,
for
because
this
there's so much
player?
creativity that goes into it. Like
Yes, and I
you
think
can't
that's
just
why
throw
it's
him to the wolves.
so dependent on like going to the proper place,
Yeah.
right? Because very quickly it can be a like you can walk this fine line of a positionless player or a guy who can't do anything. And it really depends on where you end up going and how you end up developing. Um, in this weird, I don't want to call it
How
weird,
much
but
off
this
ball did Micah play in year one with the Cowboys? I'm gonna look
it
that
was
up.
back end. I would say it was he spent, I would say, probably the first like 2/3 of the season at off ball linebacker, and it wasn't until injuries that final like
Yeah.
probably 5-6 games that they fully transitioned him to edge. Um, and then again, you never look back. So, I don't know. It's I'll get into Reese next week. So
Yeah, I mean it's so he played mostly box snaps week 1, then exclusive D line weeks 2 and 3, then went back to majority box linebacker snaps from week 4 to week 10.
yeah,
Week 11 and 12 was majority like D line, and then back to off ball linebacker for the rest of the season, including the wild card game against San Francisco. So yeah, you got it on the nail. Where it seems like injuries kind of thrust him into that, and
yeah,
then you look at like a game against Kansas City. Like he had 7 pressures and 2 sacks on like
yeah.
exclusive D line snaps, and I think they were like, "Oh, this guy's too good."
This is who he
Um,
is. Yeah,
this is too good. And then from year 2 on, he's been exclusive D line guy. So
shocker.
again, I think that I mean that's what you're chasing with Reese. So I don't think
Sure.
it's too hard to dream big with him like that.
No. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to chase. But
Yeah.
anything left to add with these edge rushers before we dig? Little maybe not as in depth, but we dig into the D tackle class up at the top.
No, no. I mean, I think that's the majority of it. Quick, did you watch any Dennis Sutton like at all? He's like one of those guys that like people
Yes.
seem like
So
so split on.
I mean, you want to take the time to develop him, all right. You know, like you want to take your time. Fine. I can see why you're doing it. I'm not going to put him in my rankings.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
kind of what I'm doing.
I agree. Again, there are people that love like the upside and what he can bring, and like
Yeah.
there are people who are like he's a top 4 edge of this class, and I'm like, okay, I want what you are on.
At some point, like
Um,
I can't just keep doing this. Like you know, the only guy that I think is hit along that like Penn State pipeline outside of like Micah's freakish whatever, and even then, like I don't even consider him Penn State because he didn't take that last year. Is Owe, and
yeah,
Owe didn't pop until this most recent year where he's thrown to the wolves with the Chargers and he gets this monster contract with the Commanders. So it
yeah,
took all 4 years for him to get there. They declined the option on him. Like so, again, it's apples to oranges. I get they wear the same helmet and maybe that's not fair, but it's like Chop's fallen off since year one, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the patience with a guy like that. Maybe I'm not creative enough.
No, I lean definitely more towards you than I do some of
Again, if the value meets the
other
like
people.
that's again like full circle, baby. Just the value of this edge rusher class. I need to see the board. I need to see it like line up to where like
Yeah.
all right, pick 50. These are the edge rushers on the board. I need to take one. And for right now, it's just like I would love you if you were like pick 65, but I have to make the decision on you at 45, and it's like ugh, that's hard to
Yeah.
do.
Yep. I agree. But who so you had 12. Who were your 12?
My 12. Number 12, R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. 11, Cashius Howell out of Texas A&M. 10, Derrick Moore out of Michigan. 9, Akheem Mesidor out of Miami. 8, Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee. 7, Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. 6, Zion Young out of Missouri. 5, TJ Parker out of Clemson. 4, Keldric Faulk out of Auburn. 3, David Bailey out of Texas Tech. 2, Rueben Bain out of Miami, and 1, Arvell Reese out of Ohio State.
There you go. I had 11. I had Cashius Howell at 11. Malachi Lawrence at 10. Gabe Jacas at 9. Zion Young at 8. Joshua Josephs at 7. R. Mason Thomas at 6A. Keldric Faulk. I keep wanting to say Marshall Faulk. Keldric Faulk at 5. TJ Parker at 4. Akheem Mesidor at 3. David Bailey at 2. And Rueben Bain at 1.
All right. When we come back, we're going to be hitting on the defensive tackle class. Maybe not, again, not as in-depth as the edge rusher class, but we will be hitting on the top end of the IDLs. Welcome back in to the Pigskin Project. Same episode. So here we go once again. The interior defensive line. We talked edge for over an hour. Now we'll get into the even bigger players. I had some shout outs to give. We're just going to do a top 5. I had Xavier Harris out of Ole Miss. Again, like he's like 6'8", and he's like 340. Just an incredibly huge man. And then also in that Georgia tape, like how hard he played in that game. Never forget. Grayson Halton out of Oklahoma. Great stunter. Again, kind of falls onto the Venables, where it's like, do I like the Venables tree more than I like the actual player? That's where I kind of am. But he deserves a shout out just because of his rushing prowess. And then last, this was just highlight scouting, but Landon Robinson out of Navy. There's something there. I don't think that there's nothing. So I think he's got some juice as a 3-tech again. It's the same talking point with any Service Academy player. Like, you kind of got to figure out the weight. You kind of got to figure out the strength. But maybe he is like this, can see light kind of guy where it's like, we keep him light on purpose so we can just do one thing and one thing only. Didn't IU have someone like that last year? Am I crazy? I don't think CJ West was this small though. There's no
CJ West was massive. CJ West was
who am I thinking of?
Huge.
Kamara always lined up on the edge, but
yeah, Kamara's always been edge.
I could be completely off base, but I feel like there's a team recently in college had done this. But yeah,
I'll get to the bottom of this.
Those are my shout outs.
Yeah,
specifically last year was the team that I was referencing.
Yeah. We'll find it. We'll get to the bottom of it. CJ West was the only one that was drafted.
Yeah.
Tyreek Tucker, but no, he's a prospect this year. I don't know. I do not know. I digress. Yeah, I had 2 shout outs that didn't make the list. Dante Corleone, the Godfather, some really major medical red flags for him. Ankle and knee injuries. And then he also like threw a blood clot in his lung last year, which made him sit out. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that stays with you. I just can tell you guys what I know, and I can tell you that he hasn't been on the field for some time because of it. Good run defender, but he's small. He's a small guy. He's only 6 feet tall. And if your calling card is being like a run defender, I want you to be a little bit more hefty. On the flip side of that, the big orange. He's big. And he's also another one of these really, really good run defenders. There's one of them that really, well, there's two of them that made this list, Lee Hunter, which we'll get into. But the athletic stuff there it leaves me to some questions, and that's why he didn't make the list. But those were my two shout-outs.
I found it was James Carpenter. He was sub 300. He's like 6'1", similar to Robinson. Like he's short, like the Puna Ford. Like he's just very stout and very leverage based. So.
Yeah.
So, I knew it. All right, number 5, Florida State, Darrell Jackson. This is all projection.
Didn't watch it.
He's huge, dude. He's like 6'5" and 3/4, I think is what he was. But he's got like Kawhi like hands, just ginormous.
Massive.
To make like and it shows up as a presence and as both a run defender and a pass rusher. But
Sure.
like again, this is all the projection. Like the inconsistencies are terrible. Like I just down to down, it's just not the same player as you want. But you're gambling on the upside, shooting for the stars, right? I think that's kind of what I threw in here. Instead of like, I think just chasing the upside at a position like this, chasing the mass, is what. And he's got some stunting ability that I thought he showcased here and there at Florida State. So he was someone that just made the cut for me, in that like the top 4. He's a distant 5th to the top 4.
Gotcha. That's how I feel about my top 4, which is funny because my 4th is someone who didn't make your list. 5 for me is Christen Miller. I liked him. He was fun. Did you watch Christen Miller?
He's 2.
He's 2.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I should shut up and just let you talk about him.
So, dude, like Kirby does this thing with Georgia where it's like you go in and you're like, oh, this guy had no production. I projected Christen Miller before the season. I'm like, this guy's going to be a top 15 player. He's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then he has no production. And then you watch the tape with him and it's like, hey, let's stunt and slant every effing time. And let's do this gap thing every single time, where it's like the few times where I saw him actually like rush through a chest of someone, it was great to me. And so that's why I'm throwing him up at 2. And I don't know. Like he's just a very sturdy player on contact. And I mentioned this with the edges, and like this is why I just highlighted it with these players that I saw it. Like the power is flowing through every bit of his body in one flowing direction, and that is something that I like to chase. I like to chase that trait. And he never felt like dictated on where to go. That was the big thing again, and he's the size of a nose tackle, but like slim down a little bit, be a 3-tech. We'll see. But yeah, okay. Christen Miller was someone that I knew I was gonna like, and like throughout the season because I liked him in summer, and then just like the production, I'm like, oh no, this is not gonna be great, and it was great. It was great. So I still find myself at 2, and I think he's a more consistent player than some of the guys along this class. So that's why I had him at 2, and he's threatening that top 35-ish territory.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's 5 for me. I'm lower. For me, the big question is that pass rush production. How much of it is scheme? How much of it is him? The other thing for him is still developing football IQ. And like the best way I can describe it for him is like when he sees red, he goes kind of like a bull. Like he bites on some pretty nasty. Yeah, he bites on some pretty bad eye candy because he just sees it and he goes. which leaves the rest of everyone else to kind of clean up on him. I liked him. I didn't know if you were gonna have him on your list, and I'm gonna be a high man. Boy, was I wrong. But everything that you said, he's a very powerful player. I think he has a good step for a guy his size. Uh, really liked his point of attack defense, his ability to shed blocks. And for a big guy, he stayed low and he
Mhm.
understood the leverage battle. We like that. But he's 5 for me. 4 is the guy that didn't make your list, Lee Hunter.
Yep.
He's gonna be for me. He's a true nose, and I think he can be a focal point of a run stopping defense. He's just he swallowed up everything on the inside. I liked everything that I saw from him. He had a great anchor, didn't get moved ever. Like on a one-on-one block, it was just not going to happen. And he was like it at times. He wasn't getting moved on a 2v1 block there on a double team. He has very, very strong punches. It's concussive. And he has good football IQ. Like he was able to anticipate and see down blocks. For him, he's just not athletic. He's big. He has like no athleticism
He's
at
just
all.
mass.
It's just he's massive, which really causes some limited pass rush upside. He has a bull rush and that's about it. And then the conditioning concerns as are probably used to running into as a guy as big as he is. I have concerns about his ability to play 4 quarters at a very consistent and effective level. But as you get into strength and conditioning in the NFL, I think he'll be able to figure it out. But again, he's not going to do much for you on the pass rush side. But I again think he can be the focal point of a run defense.
So the thing with Lee Hunter that like why I'm just naturally going to be so low is like the short area stuff is
Yeah.
like undraftable. Like the short within a phone booth, it's so bad. And then you get
Sure.
into like, okay, well, he lined up, in like this is according to PFF, like he lined up in what was it, the B gap more often than as like a straight up nose. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Can you show some like pass rush prowess? No, not at all. I'm like,
No.
oh, all right. Well, where am I gonna go with you? Am I just like really? Am I drafting a player and putting him in a top 50 where it's like you are strictly one thing. You are just mass to eat double teams. No, I'm not going to get there.
Mozzie
And
Smith.
yeah, I just that's a great one. I just don't think that outside of like the run game stuff where it's just like I'm just eating space, I just don't like the projection of this player
Sure.
and I would just rather chase like he would probably be 6 if I had to guess. But
Yeah.
like distant like that's distant third round like down the board third
Sure.
round where it's like maybe I'm just trying to be the Grinch where it's like I'm seeing him in top 30s and I'm like what are we watching like what do y'all see that I don't just the phone booth agility I think is really really bad. He had some flashes against Oregon like on the TV copy like when I'm watching that live I was like oh man look at this guy and then like you go back and watch it and it's just very slow in developing, but he
Yeah.
does get there. So I'm just I'm willing to be lower on a player like this, and I think
Sure.
that's where I'm at. Number 4, Kayden McDonald, Kayden McPounder. Shout out Stock Exchange. Um, just young, productive plugger. That is the one thing with him. He has the lower body to last a really long time being a stuffer, and he has that production that I was just mentioning with Lee Hunter that I'm not in love with. He has that short area ability to close out stuff. But again, there is like this hesitation with me in comparison to like he got to be like the 7th or 8th most uh, important player on his own defense this year.
Yes.
So again, like I feel like it's easy to rack up production like that, but it is still production as a nose tackle. So I'm kind of weighing both sides, and that's why he's at 4 for me. And then also like drafting a nose tackle, I feel like you can just find those guys. I don't know. I think
Can
those
afford.
they're
Yeah.
just always ways to find them without drafting one in the top 32 picks that I've seen him mocked. Um,
Yeah.
but he's in that like top 50 range for me. I haven't really gotten past like the top 30ish, but if I had to project, he would be in that top 50 range right now. But what'd you see with McDonald?
Yeah. He was for a long time. He was my DT3.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, due to stuff that has happened with my now DT3, he has been moved up. If we're going like strictly on just
So
like
he's two.
traits, yeah, he's two for me now.
Okay.
He's two for me now. For a long time, he was three. He's two now. Um, again, he's more two because of some of the negatives on three, not more so because of the positives of him. But he's two for me. As you said, he's going to be a really good nose tackle. He's a walking wall, is what I said. He has really good play strength, and like he like just tosses guys to the side. Like he just like that Texas in the Texas game, he was abusing some of those guys. Like
Dude,
it was
him
fun.
and Reese in that game, like they looked absolutely the part.
Yeah, yeah. He does a good job taking on double teams, and he has a really good initial burst. But
Mm-hmm.
he does have shorter arms, and he lacks like pass rush juice. I think he has
Yeah.
more than what Lee Hunter does, but he has like the bull rush, and that's about it. I don't think he has the best block recognition as well. And then he has an inconsistent motor.
NFL Network
Uh,
comped him to DJ Reader because I was looking at those before. Like
okay,
that's exactly what it is. Like just
yeah,
it kind of eat space, and every once in a while, you'll kind of split the double team into the backfield and get a pressure.
mm,
But like that's not what you're here to do,
yes,
and you can operate in the short area, unlike Lee Hunter,
yeah, yeah. I agree.
like laterally.
So yeah, he's two for me. Uh, power of deduction, unless you threw a curveball at me, I'd imagine our three is the same
Nope,
individual.
nope,
No,
no. We're still here. We're still here. Caleb Banks at
we're
number
still
one, dude.
here.
We're still here. Caleb Banks
Oh
number one.
no! Well, Caleb Banks was two for me, and then he got moved down to
We're still
three.
here,
So
chat.
that means my three is your one, and my one is your three.
Yep.
You do the Caleb Banks thing then. Caleb Banks is three for me. I want to preface it. The whole reason he is at three and
Yeah.
he's higher is because of injury concerns. Like you basically did not play an entire season, which I'm like, I could look past because of all the positive things that you're going to glow about him. And now we're like, well, you got a foot injury that's basically going to take you out all of OTAs and training camp. And you're just like, ah. So your like availability concerns me, and I'm wondering how much of it is like simply because of the fact that like you are so big and move so quickly. It
Yeah.
is just not like you're breaking the laws of physics and now you're paying for it. But I will let you get into it.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm just not going to move him. He did all of, like the testing at the combine with this foot injury apparently. So again, like is that a minus? Not in my book. Like he could still get freakier technically, right? But just
Whoa.
like it's the mountain that he is mixed with
Yeah.
elite athletic tools. He does everything to get in the backfield. Can we teach him how to tackle? That's the biggest thing, right? Like that's
Yeah.
all we need to figure out. And it's like the $1 million man. It's like, can we do this? Can we figure out this one thing? And you'll be a super duper star. Like I really believe that with him. Like the 25 stuff this recent season, like it wasn't great. Again, like I think he looked a step slower than he had in the summer. And then you see that like at the Senior Bowl, and I think that again, like that speaks to him again, if you want me to do propaganda, I'll just for the players I like, then I'll just talk about their leadership qualities. Here we go. That's just him wanting to play with the poise. All right, like that's just him rushing out there to play with Florida, who wasn't going to make a bowl game, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
So like he's got all the leadership intangibles to figure out. But back to the football field, like the way he dictates where people go, it's insane. I love him, man. Like the foot injury again makes it really hard to take him in the first round, and then you watch him again, and you're like, ugh. Like, and then you think about this draft, and you go, ugh. I'm supposed to like, sorry, I'm gonna throw him under the bus, but like, I'm supposed to take Zion Young over him. Like, what are we doing? Come on. And so, Caleb Banks is a tremendous force of nature that I'm willing to be wrong on. Probably not. Again, if the foot injury wasn't here, he'd be in my top 15 pretty easily. I think is where I stand, and I think he's far and away IDL1 by the way for me. And
Gotcha.
The foot kind of moves it down where it's like you said, like is God stopping him from being the most freakishly athletic football player of all time? Maybe. Who knows? But
and that's a big thing for me because I haven't, for the most part, I've not shied away from liking guys because of injury. Like Jordan Tyson was by far and away my wide receiver one in the class. I could care less about the injuries.
You're just more at like this is the straw that broke the back, right?
Well, it's not even. This is the straw that broke the camel's back, not because of like it's just another. This is the straw that broke the camel's back because I'm not convinced that someone as big as you should be moving as quick and as like explosive as what you do. And I like have like genuine fear and concern that like that is the reason why we are getting hurt is because you're so quick and so big, and like maybe we are just not meant to move. Maybe we're just not meant to be as big and as moving as quickly as you are, and we're just seeing the ramifications of it. And like I do have like real concerns of that. Like I know it sounds like crazy, but like it is a true concern of mine. But again, like it's all of the stuff. If he can stay healthy, like good luck. Good luck the rest of the league. Like this dude is awesome. Like he had the longest arms in the combine since 1999. Like he's huge. He's massive, 372 pounds. He's 6'6". Moves very, very well. Is way more explosive than what you would think the guy that big is. Has that great pass rush arsenal that we talked so much about, or that I talked so much about in the edge class. But again, it's injuries, tackling, and inconsistent plays. Like there were times where like you should have put it together and you just like didn't when you were out there. And I'm like, what's going on? Can we be a little bit more consistent with this? You were gifted.
The other thing is like he didn't reach 1,000 snaps. He's 23. So it's like that's a big gamble, guys. But I'm willing to do it when you look like Caleb Banks. Also, he wears a cool number. Hey, come on. What are we doing?
So I mean I think we see this the player the exact same. We just have far different desires to swing on him in terms of injury, where you might not think that this is a lasting thing, and I think this might hamper him throughout his entire career. So that leaves me with my DT1.
I'll chase 1 year of Caleb Banks at full potential than any rookie contract year of Peter Woods. I think that's where I found myself. Like, you can get into him, and he's your number one. I hate this player.
I like Peter Woods. I enjoyed watching Peter Woods, and I told you this months ago. He's like one of these weird players that like maybe losing the weight wasn't a good thing for you. And there's not many players that you can say that.
But he's still
for.
tiny at the combine. He didn't run. It's like I don't know.
And it's just like just physique wise, there's a difference between 24 and 25 physique, and you look at the 25 physique of Peter Woods, and you're like, you should be a good player. but your 25 film was not as good as your 24 film. And like that was the concerning thing. And like you should be losing weight and it should help, and it just flat out didn't. And it's weird because again, most of the time you lose the weight and you play better. That didn't happen with Peter Woods. You lost the weight and you played worse. But I do like I think he has a good size and speed ability. I think he has a very explosive first step, violent punches, has the ability to split the double team, really good lateral agility to chase down blocks, and has a really fun swipe move. Mm-hmm. The run game concerns me, especially the 25 run game compared to the 24 run game. That goes back to what I was kind of saying. He just didn't. He had like a pretty weak anchor.
He's never been able to tackle. I think that's the thing with me.
Yeah. He also had really bad gap integrity as well.
Yeah.
Like he would just shoot gaps for like that you're not responsible for, and you're just like, I bet your linebackers hate you.
And
I bet they really don't like
that's what you're hoping for, like going into like thinking about Peter Woods going into the year, because I think a lot of people, including myself, were like, oh, this is going to be a top 5 player, and like all the physical, like the traits are there, and then like you watch it and it's like, oh, you aren't like this freakish athlete. Like it's, and so like I do have to take that into account, that you aren't able to like shortcut here and there where I thought you were. So it's hard. I don't think he can tackle. I don't think like, again, if you're gonna play small, I think he splits the double team. Like you pointed that out well. But like if he's that small, I want him to be more laterally quick in terms of like stunting, like affecting the pass game. And don't think he's there yet. And again, this goes back to like the patience thing, where it's like, am I gonna wait for this to figure out? And even if it does all figure out, am I getting a ceiling that could ever compare to a Caleb Banks? No.
I don't think you're getting a ceiling that compares to Caleb Banks, but like 20 on, I'd be comfortable taking the risk of developing him. Like there was enough stuff that I'm like, I like that. And that's like where this defensive tackle class is, aside from Caleb Banks. And now with the injury stuff, you're not taking Caleb Banks anywhere near the top 20. I don't think you'll take Caleb Banks anywhere near the top 20.
Not if I have a say about it.
Yeah, right. This defensive tackle class as a whole was just like a bit underwhelming. Aside,
that's the word.
But it was just, there's no one that really like moved me. It was a lot of just like space eating guys for the most part, which is like, there's a role for that in the NFL. There's not a role for that I want to take in the first round for the most part. So it was an underwhelming defensive tackle class. Some intriguing prospects down the board, as you talked about, but there's just not really that top end production that you feel comfortable taking. I will say I'm hedging my bets and fence riding on Caleb Banks here as much as I possibly can. But yeah, it was an underwhelming class.
Yeah, I feel like in my older age of draft, I feel like I'm just like in or out. I'm either on this spectrum or not. But
there's no gray area. You're either bad or you're great.
With Caleb Banks, top 15 player. Don't care. He'll figure it out. He'll figure out how to tackle guys. He's that big.
Don't care.
But yeah, I mean, I think you said it. You put the word right into my mouth, like the underwhelming part of it. Which again, I didn't have like much high expectations.
No.
Going into it in January, but like in August, Christen Miller ends up 2 anyway. But it's like, man, I really wanted to see Christen Miller pop. I really wanted to see Peter Woods like established as a top 5 player, and just didn't chase and hang out that way. The other Clemson guy's been around forever too. What is it? He sucks too. Capehart? Sorry.
Yeah.
But he's been around forever. And like, yeah, not great. But that's the defensive line class, guys. If you need a guy to stop the run, you'll find one. Don't worry.
Yep.
But they'll get
Cough, cough,
overdrafted.
Bills.
They'll get
Yeah.
overdrafted. Don't worry. That's the part. Like I'm gonna suck when we talk about the draft like the night after. It's just like everybody's gonna be over.
But there's a place for that. Like I know there's 31 teams in the NFL that should not take Lee Hunter in the first round. If the Bills take Lee Hunter in the first round,
No, they have Deion Walker.
Sure. I'm not.
Deion Walker next to Lee Hunter.
Deion Walker doesn't have the lower body strength that I want from a defensive tackle.
He was good this year. He was good. I think he stops you from taking Lee Hunter that high.
Yeah.
But
it all shocker. This is what we say. It all comes down to what team takes you, and I can be convinced with it. You know, same thing with like McPounder.
I feel like this is the first year though that I've been like this cynical talking about like I need to see the board to like kind of value and see where it is. Like again, different position, completely different position. Like Mekhi Lemon might be a slot only player, and he's like 8th on my board. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like this is a tough draft. I think that's why.
So hold on until next year, and I swear to God, guys, this isn't like a next year's draft will be better because this year's draft sucks. Me and Matt were saying this before the college football season started this year, that next year's draft is going to be the good draft. It's Scout's honor. I wasn't a Boy Scout, so it doesn't mean shit. But I digress. Like, hold on until next year.
Everybody, hold on. It's going to get better.
I promise.
But we will talk about the back seven is good. Okay, I won't. Yeah. I don't think I'll be as cynical during the back seven when we do that next. The back seven. So yes. Okay. I think I'm interested to see the way discussions go with a certain Ohio State safety because I think there's a lot of good safeties, and so
there's a lot of good safeties.
That makes his value where I've seen him get drafted. It leaves me a little hesitant. Where early in this process I was like, "You're too good."
Big Genesis guy. Big Genesis guy over here. Anyways,
he can't tackle, but that's it. Do we have any closing thoughts, Ben, before we get out of here?
No, I mean,
over 100 minutes of defensive linemen.
Yeah, it's gonna be the final 3 positions are gonna be all pounded out in one day next week, so that'll be fun. Safeties,
it won't be as in corners depth as this. I think we'll spark notes it.
Yeah, it'll probably be 5. Honestly, for me, it'll probably be 5 safeties. Well, it'll probably be like 7 safeties, probably 5 linebackers, and a little bit more corners. But much more of the defensive tackle of it all is the best way I can describe how those are going to go. But it's going to be fun. We're getting close. We're 21 days out now. We're 3 weeks out. It's going to be fun. There'll be content post-draft. It's going to be awesome, guys. Stay tuned.
Yes. All right. That's it for us. I have no closing thoughts. The edge rushers, if you can find value, hopefully you find it. The D tackles, just hope your team drafts Caleb Banks, and you'll get an A+ from me. All right, that's how we're gonna figure this out. But that's it for us. Links in the description. Timestamps, if you want to go back, will be in the description as always. Leave a comment if there's a player that we missed that you think is a sleeper. Would definitely like this year. I feel like I'm slacking compared to last year. So if there's a guy in day 3 you want to shout out in the comments, I will listen. I will watch. Just in comparison to last year, and then if there's a player we kind of shit on, and you're like, I like this player. Well, sorry, Cashius Howell defenders. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, that's all for us from the Pigskin Project. Again, we'll talk about the back 7 next. There'll be a mock draft here soon. But that's all for us. Goodbye.